Super Tupa Morning Show. We got a special guest joining us in the building. And as he says on his own podcast, good morning, good morning, good morning. And we got to say good morning to none other than Mr. Claudius Boncapper, a.k.a. Toncha, is here with us in the building. Good morning. How you doing?
I'm always doing well. I woke up this morning, so I'm doing well.
All right. Candidate number two on the now. That's right, Nation Opportunity Wealth Party, which is led by none other than MP Christopher Emmanuel. And this is your, I would say this is your second time around on the Now Party.
Yes.
Yes, but you're no stranger when it comes to politics.
I ran twice before. So I ran in 2020 with the USP when I got elected. And I ran, surprisingly, back in 1994 when we had a Senate election and the DP had fallen asunder and we were led by Marcel Gums, Sierra Westcott, myself, Elko Rosario. We were 6 people, Mario Hodge and Lillian Kuipers. That was the 6. They thought we were finished, DP was dead, and we were still able to pull out a seat.
Okay.
That's when they had arrested Claude and all those things. It was that whole movement time.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the Super Duper Morning Show, and like I said, again, you are contesting the upcoming elections, despite what some people are saying that why is he even running? If he runs, he won't even be able to sit in Parliament, which is something that you have been dispelling for quite some time.
I'm happy you brought that as the first question. Let me say to all the people that are believing that, we have story time with Papa Umpu. Go and do it over there. But when you join the political arena and you want to discredit me, discredit my ability. The law is very, very clear, Super, and I'm going to take 2 minutes to explain.
Sure, go ahead.
Article 50.2 says, if you are in office and you are convicted, not irrevocably, but convicted for a crime as stipulated, I think it's various crimes, bribery, falsification, etc. You will be suspended for the term of the year, the parliamentary term.
That's sitting term.
Correct. Some of these people have now made it the term of your conviction or the term of... No. They're saying you're suspended for the term of the court case. So if the court case is 5 more years, you're suspended. That is absolute ludicrousy. That is not written in our constitution. But you have, you have cooks, you have wannabe financial experts that come out and talk this nonsense. And what hurts me is when a lawyer jumps in. Because know better, do better. Because then you cannot tell me that you read the Constitution. I have people from the Netherlands that have been a member of the Raad van State for over 10 years as a constitutional experts. And they wrote out our story. And they said, look, France, for example, cannot take a seat because he was now irrevocably sentenced in cassation and he had a 5-year ban. So France, remember, the term is the term of parliament. That's why it's also stated when you get suspended, somebody else is pushed in and will resign at the end of the term. So was I acquitted, for example, last year, November, I would not be able to go back to parliament. That's a flaw in the constitution because it says until the end of the term. I am suspended at that point in time. The term came to an end in the last election, January 10th, February 10th, I believe. Somebody went in. The term came to an end. Then you go to Article 49. Why is it that at 10 o'clock this morning, I'm allowed to be postulated and be a candidate? So if I was to lose my seat, it would mean that the Constitution of Sint Maarten allows voters fraud. Because you are telling me, go ahead and run, but then you can't take a seat. It's not logical. It's nonsense. That's why for those boys and girls that want to, you see, when you can't beat me, Super, you're going to look for something to try to manipulate, like how the DP used to say, if I can't convince you, I can confuse you. That's what they're trying to do. But this time around, I will be presenting in the media, also everything. My lawyers already have prepared the piece, and we're going to put it out, but we're going to put it out strategically when the time is right, because I want to catch them when the time is right and show their credibility is touchy, but their knowledge is way off bound. Because if you don't even know what our Constitution says, how can you take an oath swearing on the Constitution that you're going to uphold it and you don't even understand it?
Now, do you think that article that was written in the Daily Herald a few days right before elections, that, like you said, if you can't convince them, you got to confuse them, probably kind of confused some people when it comes to you running in
I
the
lost
elections.
my seat because of that article.
Yeah.
And the you know, Super, I am a very quiet fellow sometimes. When they said that the Central Voting Bureau said ABC, I called Miss Tacklin. And you can ask her, you all can interview her. She said, I have saved the screenshots of the WhatsApps we had discussions. She said, I never said that. The lady asks about the geloofsbrieven. And she says the geloofsbrieven are very simple. Nobody can be held out of parliament with a geloofsbrief.
Right.
Because it's just like a hammerstick. It's just, yeah, okay, we agree with it. We play politics with it, but it's not a political tool. So that was the onlyest question she asked. She never even mentioned my name.
Right.
Yet she wrote a full page because she did that as a favor to another politician. I won't go in their personal details, but when push comes to shove, push me far enough, and I'm going to start calling names.
All right. Now, you've been calling names, and you've not been afraid to do so on your podcast, which you do, I believe, every Mondays.
Well, I changed it now just to Wednesdays for election time with Greece.
Okay. So now you changed your podcast days, and like I said, many episodes, you've spoken a lot, and you've been very critical about persons and situations on the island. However, one thing I must say is what you do, besides being critical, you also bring solutions.
Yes.
Which I must commend you for that. Whether it's solutions that people like or they don't like, it's a solution nonetheless. Or at least it's your opinion or what you think should be done in a case like that. Moving forward, what is your next step? Or what moves do you have planned for this upcoming elections, based on what went on with you before, and now moving away from that to basically bring the confidence back into people towards you?
I think the people have the confidence already. I think the people have followed me since election to now. There are three things that I run on. I run on knowledge, I run on experience, and I run on ability. Not many people can say they have my ability. Maybe many went to school, so they might have my knowledge. But not many people have my experience in government, went through what I went through, understand legislation, know how to make legislation. As a parliamentarian, we are there to make legislation, co-legislate with government, and ensure that government executes the programs we have put there in accordance to the law. That's the job of a parliamentarian. Not building a road, not dealing with a culvert. I know those things because I come from that world.
Right.
But it doesn't mean to say I don't know how to write, or how to prepare advices, or how to do certain things. That's a strength I have, and I trump. I don't run a government on WhatsApp. I run a government sitting in the meetings, participating, being part of it, coming with solutions. Look, one of the main things with politics is you got to be believable. And if you're not believable, because what you're saying doesn't make sense, people are just going to tell you a yes, smile with you, but they're going to move on and say, you see that's an idiot.
Right.
And, by me, people every week send me messages, ask me questions. And that's why sometimes you see me bringing up a question from the listener. And then I will go down into that topic. Like one of the topics I'm going to be dealing with very soon is going to be the residual seat. What does it mean if you don't vote?
Right.
Because a lot of people say, I ain't voting, I'm tired. If you don't vote, you're voting to give the biggest parties the edge again, because then they will get the residual seat because the voters' quota will go down. But I will get into that much more in detail. I think, Super, what I bring to the table is a man of knowledge. I know what to do. All of them making a bunch of noise about we're going to do this. No, you have been there for 4 years. What have you done? Why are you telling me now you want to build homes? Why are you telling me now you want to do this? What did you do for 4 years? You're going to blame that on COVID and Irma? Please. We got to be honest. And that's what I said. If people don't believe you, they ain't going your way no more. So...
Yeah.
I think I can sell the product called non-camper. I sincerely think I can, and I think people are gravitating towards it.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to us now going into the snap elections again for August 19th, a lot of fingers have been pointed towards the 2x4. I don't like to call it that, but we'll call it for what it is. The 2x4 coalition, saying it's because of them, the instability is why we're back in this situation. Other people would say, well, it's the other players on the other side that caused the instability. If they weren't so nitpicking and trying to pull people away and get them into joining their 7 at the time to make it an 8 or a 9 or whatever they were trying to do, we would have never gotten into this situation either. We saw this morning in the papers that the investigation on Mr. Maingret is based on and I thought at first it was based off of the taxi and bus licenses, but the paper made it clear this morning it's about this falling of government and if there was any bribery or any misconduct done there. So that should be pretty interesting to see based on their investigations what they do find. So moving on from that, what are your thoughts on what really caused this instability and the fall of government?
Look, Super, in politics, you run to govern. So I can understand that during the negotiations, you say, okay, listen, I'm going to give you a third minister. They offered now 3 ministers. They offered us 3 seats. I was part of those discussions.
Right.
But we opted to stick with the group that we said we wanted to be a part of, which we campaigned against keeping the worst government out of office. So we stuck together. That suddenly 4 or 5 people go to Brazil and they reach back Sunday and Monday morning the government falls and you hear people on the floor of Parliament stating they were offered money to do this and they were offered money. You're opening a door for an investigation. Now, again, what this investigation has done, what they are saying is, listen, we're not interested anymore in other things.
Right.
We want to focus a minute on the instability. Now, what caused this instability? Was he paid or was he not paid? That's what they are saying. That's what they are investigating. Who paid him? Who facilitated the payment? Were those politicians? Were those businessmen? That's where they're going.
Right.
It also is a part of nearly deciding for people where not to vote. And I want to be cautious with that because democracy should not be thrown into the pot when we are in an election mode. But it has become the norm in Sint Maarten. Once or twice, I'll say it's a coincidence. But every time this is an election, there are arrests made, we're kicking down doors.
Right.
Well, why don't you do that after the elections? It is nearly as if they want to ensure what will happen. And I want to win the elections on my strength.
Yeah.
I don't need the Dutch to help me win no election. I want to win it on my strength. If I can't win it on my strength, I don't know my value.
Right.
That's who I am. And people say, but what are you saying that because I don't win the election? No. I want to win it the right way. I don't buy votes and I don't need your help to win. What I need is your vote. Have confidence in me and help me over the finish line. And I believe at this point in time that was going quite well. I know Kevin is very unfortunate. I have been through investigations. I know how it feels when they come in your house, come in your office. I know how that feels.
Your leader as well also
Yes,
did it.
yes. And, Super, I don't want to say this, but the way this is spinning, they're going to go in many more homes before elections.
I said the same.
They're going to go into many more homes. They're not going to stop right now. They don't care what Bancampa says. They have an agenda, and they're going to fulfill that agenda. Because this could have been done also on the 20th of August.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
They could have done this on the 20th of August. They opted to do it now. And then you see the spin stories come out. Oh, Marcelina to do this. That's not relevant. That's not relevant because complaints have been filed 6 months ago, 8 months ago. They didn't even touch it yet. But this one, if a complaint was filed, you jump on it already. I don't know. I don't like the way this works.
Yeah, but what do you think is the motive, though, behind these things?
I don't want to guess because I am not the one sitting in that office. I'll tell you one thing. The way things have been panning out for the last 30 days has put some parties in an awkward position. So well in the coalition as outside of the coalition. And naturally, if you want to manipulate an election, not call the election, but manipulate it, move people's mind. Like I tell you, if I can't convince you, let's confuse them. Let's confuse them that those parties are bad, for example. Then this is a way to do it. This is a way to do it.
Interesting. Now, again, you talk a lot of topics that I'm not, that a lot of people don't like to touch on, but you're not scared to touch on those topics. And the latest topic that we've been seeing that played out in the media is the situation where it involves the young lady that was kept away from Sint Maarten for about 7 years. Finally, she got the opportunity to come back to be with her kids, and there was a lot of criticism that was thrown out there, and one of them being the questioning from MP Shamida Roseberg towards the current Minister of Justice. And there was a little back and forth. People thought it was the right thing for her to do. Some people saw it it was too soon. Let the lady enjoy being with her kids, and this is the wrong time for that to happen. From Bunk's point of view, what do you have to say about a case like that?
Look, you're talking about human beings. Mm-hmm. You're talking about a mother and her children. You're talking about a fundamental human rights where you don't separate mother and child. This is something that we live with in Sint Maarten. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't, you see, there's always history to something that created this narrative. I believe the lady left Sint Maarten, went to Colombia for an operation because she couldn't do it here. The child was in danger, the baby was in danger. Right. That's the reason she left. Upon her return, they said, no, we can't let you in because of whatever with your papers, or you overstayed your stay. I don't know the whole story, and I don't want to judge that. But on the basis of separation of family, because the children that she has here are all Dutch, right. She should have been able to give him some kind of visa waiver to come back home. That's a call of the minister. The minister stood tooth by nail. She is not doing that. I don't know the reasons. I don't know the humanitarian factors behind it. I'm not going to judge it. I think, though, it was very unfortunate to do that. Yeah. Because that same minister unified a child with a father that was here. I know that for a fact because I worked that case. So I know the lady, the former minister, has done good things too. I'm not going to knock her. It's just I don't understand it, but I don't know the things behind it. Right. But coming back to the lawyer, Mrs. Rosberg, I think, in my opinion, she was out of place at that point in time. Let it rest a little while. Pick up the phone and call the minister. Since we're in the coalition together, no, let me sensationalize it. Maybe other people listen. If the minister had given you A, B, C, D, yes, then you could have said in the press, after having a discussion with the minister, I would like to ask all the people that have these problems, bam, bam, and list them in your press release and put it out. I think that would have been the more mature and respectable way to go about it. This gunslinger style thing, it's old-time politics. I think she lost a lot of respect and credibility from a lot of people because it wasn't needed. Yes, you could have gotten the same answers had you just done it a little more professional. And yeah, I expected better. I had expect better, but you know, it's an arena, everybody looking for a vote, so we'll do what we have to do. I don't subscribe to that.
Yeah. Speak about expecting better. We just saw the generators came in, the containerized generators came in yesterday, and GEP is already working hard to get those set up. And hopefully we get out of this whole load shedding situation, at least temporarily, until we're put back online with some other lease-to-own generators. But something that you have been very critical about, and I have to agree with you on this one, when we talk about the long-term plans now of GEB, they're going back again to purchasing more engines that use fossil fuels or whatever type of fuel, and we're not moving into it now, because now is the perfect opportunity for us to say, hey, listen, let's now go into a more sustainable, renewable energy plan or platform. Your thoughts on that also?
Thanks. I think this is one of the nicer questions. Because I don't have a problem with what came now, because that's the only way to get out of it fast.
Yes.
I had a discussion with them about a badge versus this. The badge would have been, if it's long term, much cheaper, because the badge had a 3 million to get it here, so a mobilization cost. But the badge fuel is cheaper because the badge comes with its own fuel.
Okay.
They are charging you per kilowatt hour. This one here, like it or not, runs on diesel. Our fuel class bill is going to become bigger, not smaller, because to make that 55, 57 megawatts, GB is going to use more diesel. Right. GB doesn't have money on their bank accounts, that's crystal clear, to be able to foot this bill themselves, so the people are going to pay for it. So it's a necessity, and we can blame whomever we want for GB being in this problem. The issue at hand is the solution.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going with this. Will GB be able to contain the cost? We don't know. Will the government be able to take some money as a GB? Here's for 3 million a year, a month extra to cover the fuel cost and don't burden the residents. If you really want to do something, then that's the direction you should be going. You don't need to build a road, keep the lights on. You don't need to do this, keep the lights on. If that's the concept, I can live with it. But I have a problem, like you said, the midterm and the long term. They went to Holland, they asked for money, and the Dutch told them, I'll give you $60 million loan right now.
Yeah.
No conditions. But one, it must be alternative energy. They turned it down. Because they cut the deal, otherwise we'd hear about it already.
Right.
Then we go, no, we still going to look for financiers here in St. Maarten. We're going to go APS. I will, if I'm in Parliament, I'm voting against that. I tell you from now, I'm going to vote it down. Why would I take pension fund money to go invest in a diesel engine when we have alternative engines available?
Right.
We have a waste energy that was ready to go. It didn't go for politics. But for God's sakes, it takes 18 months to build and put it operational. You got 15, even 20 megawatt if you bring more garbage to the island.
Right.
That is 2 engines. Costs you about 60 million. Fully paid for by the Canadian government. We don't want that. No, we want engines.
Right.
Why?
Right.
What is it with the engines that you want so bad? Because every other country is trying to go over to alternative. The sun is for free, the wind is for free. Yet we don't want to use it. Yet we are pushing, hell-bent. Let's get all the engines. Let's get N-2, which means, because a lot of people hear this N-2. N-2 means that the capacity you have set up at GB, if you would lose your 2 biggest engines, you can still give the 57 megawatt needed to keep the island alight.
Right.
So that they want to get to that stage first and then go over to alternative and green energy, which means that alternative and green energy are not going to be part of your daily production. While the concession stated that it must be. It's written. But nobody does nothing. We talk, but we don't do. That's my problem.
Yeah, we see also the grid market situation also playing out in Parliament as well. Your thoughts on that?
Grid market is a different story because grid market, what I don't understand is the exclusivity given that they and only they can determine what type of alternative energy you're going to use, from whom you're going to use it, and it must go through them. So they're the middleman and they're going to make good money.
Okay, all right. Another topic that's pretty popular with you that you talk about, and a lot of people were I would say upset that you didn't get to enjoy your full term within Parliament, is the cannabis law. Explain to us more about that. If that is something once elected.
It's right back. It's right there.
Right back up.
Beside animal care, it's right there again. Look, for me, the cannabis was twofold. One, it was first a tolerance policy. I am tired of seeing youngsters being incarcerated because they had weed on them. And the consequence is, because you have a police record for your job, if you want to ever go to customs, or even if you want to become a police, you know, you can't because you got a police record.
You can study,
even if you want a scholarship, you have a police record. I mean, I think it was Governor Brown just in Massachusetts cleared 175,000 people that were that had these cannabis, minor cannabis, clean their record off so they can start a normal life again. But for me, it was, let's do the tolerance policy first. And I had spoken to the Minister of VSR and the Minister of Justice. Why? Because there's a health factor in it too. They said, if you tolerate it, you legalize it, all the schizophrenia, I mean, we have it right now. All the people smoking right now anyway. I mean, you're going to set parameters. I'm not telling you to give a 14-year-old marijuana to smoke, but at 18 they smoke, at 16 they smoke, and already done by the courts. Nobody is saying nothing.
Right.
So I'm saying, listen, if you're regulated, just like alcohol, if there's alcoholism, it's considered a disease. So if you're addicted to weed, then treat it as a disease. Make Turning Point available for more people, and not only when mandated by the courts so they can get money. This is crazy. You see, we shoot ourselves in the hand because of certain beliefs. Oh, it must be bad. Yes, drugs is bad. I've done drugs. I ain't lying to nobody about this nonsense in my life. But you know what? Learn from it. Fix it. Help. Marijuana is a herb. Cannabis is a herb. We lace it with all other kind of stupidness now. That's illegal.
That's the problem,
That's the problem there. But if you use the herb itself, which is used for meditational purposes, for cancer. I had a friend that had cancer, and she vapored with cannabis oil. It took away the pain. They at least enjoyed some moments, because cancer is a ruthless killer. It's a very painful killer. So I am saying, let's look at the positives and let's live in the positive instead of only being negative. Now, where are we today? Because in the legalization, a request for proposal was made where no Sint Maarten formed. And remember, you had the group from Dino Jackdani, not Dino, Arun Jackdani, that group. You had some of the other, Bushman and all them.
Right.
That could not, they handed in all this stuff, and it was like blown aside. And this Canadian groups is going to write the legislation for us. And so what are they getting?
Yeah.
Oh, nothing. And they're doing it for free? But I must be an idiot. I must be a fool. They're getting something. So I've been digging, and the more I dig, the more I'm going to see. So basically, they're going to be in charge.
Right.
Everything with licenses, the government can give it, but they got to buy it through them. They got to distribute it through them. So who's them? The Canadian and whatever is attached to the Canadian.
Right.
Let me put it very mildly right now. But, like I said, push me too far. And I'm going to really turn that pot upside down, because I said it in 2020 and I'll say it today again. We have had enough youngsters that have lost their lives, that have gone to jail, and they wanted to make something out of their life, and we never gave them a chance.
Right.
They always said, we can't survive in the generation of today because you mess it up for us. So this was a way out to get them come together as groups. Instead of shooting each other, they work with each other. And they sell a product that everybody is buying anyway, but instead of the hustle, pay a tax and you keep your money, you could drive the same pretty car you want. Don't put tint on it because I don't know. You see, this is the way. This is the way I saw the Sint Maarten, the new direction, because that's what we are. We are a new direction as the Now. The Now Party is of now, not yesterday, not yesteryear, of now. We want it done now the right way. And some people are afraid of that message that we are bringing. And then you get this controversy, oh, he can't do this, and oh, he can't do that, and she can't do that. In the big boys world, if you can't handle it, stand up on the side and watch.
Let the other people.
Let those that can and are willing to do it, because we really want to make a difference for this country. One of my main things was seniors, and I keep preaching it. Why are we taxing seniors? We have, 3,000 seniors that are pulling pension from the APS, Villanova, wherever. The AOV is not taxed, and rightfully so.
Right.
They don't even meet minimum wage, so it can't be taxed. But the minute you have a pension and they attach the AOV, now they're taxing you on the pension first, wage tax, and when they add the AOV, they're coming back for you an income tax.
Right.
So you're getting a double whammy as a senior. And I told them, I had begged the former Minister of Finance, because my wife used to work there, so I had good rapport with him. I said, please, man, or you move the taxes. It's about 3 million. Let's find money in the budget to put that there. And it's just a joke. At least I have the ear of the sitting Minister of Finance now, and I asked her, please look into it. Have the people from Fiscal Department look into this and make it, pass it, so that the 1st of January 2025, seniors can enjoy a tax-free future, and they can do something, because that's our problem. We just simply ain't doing what we gotta do.
Candidate number 2 on the Now Party slate, we have Mr. Claudius Mancamper, aka Toncha, here with us. We're running out of time, and I know you have some other interviews scheduled with us, and you'll be back. There's a lot I want to talk to you about when it comes to more deep in the pension.
Every Monday, 9:15, I am here, but you're till election.
The animal law that you have. Also, I know you talk a lot about agriculture as well, so that's some stuff I want to get into. Before you leave, though, one more question, which is a pretty taboo question. We also saw this morning that the High Court backs same-sex marriage. What does that mean when it comes to Sint Maarten now?
Sint Maarten is in for a rude awakening. We hide behind the churches sometimes. We hide behind other moral and social values. And I always said, listen, because let's look in the mirror and ask ourselves, how many men are married and have children outside? But we follow the commandments. How many women have children with different men where we follow the commandment? I'm saying this, and be cautious. The choice that somebody wants to make, it's their choice. As long as it does not interfere with social morals of the country, because some countries, it's taboo and this, and I'm saying, okay, but what is the damage that it's doing? If it's doing damage, then let's weigh off that damage. But it can't just be because it's a man and a man or a woman and a woman. That's gender discrimination. And we got to be careful with that. I have a brother that's married to another man. I love my brother just as much. I had one thing I used to tell him. My little children, they were young. They didn't understand it. So, you know, just keep that in mind, please. Other than that, I love my brother and his partner. I'm not going to change. Am I waving a flag? No, I am not, because that's not my lifestyle. But I am not going to disrespect anybody that has that lifestyle. I think we have to start growing up. We still allow prostitution every day. You know, we allow other things to happen in this country. We let go pedophiles out of jail because we want to lock up a politician. And then I ask myself, but how serious are we when we talk about justice in our country? So no, I don't want to just go down the road and say, because it's this. No. We were not part of the court case, but the day we say no, we will be the next one in court as country, and we will get clobbered. Because there is a presidency now. Look, the presidency was based on their constitution and the discriminatory factor in the constitution. Now, mind you, the human rights laws that we like to quote here and use in court gives a way out, an alternative, that you say, okay, I'll take this part of the human rights law and put it in my constitution, where I will be able to, you know, because remember, there are countries in Europe where this is taboo, and they are part of the European Human Rights Covenant. So there are ways to do things. But if you do nothing, in Kyoto they decide they ain't worried, none of that, they lost the case based on the discriminatory factor of human rights. So again, if Sint Maarten wants to do something, right, they know the way to walk. We have people that are in politics that are clearly open in their choice of partners. So if they wanted really to do this, they can bring the law forward. If I'm in Parliament, it will carry my support. I'm not going to come and say, oh, not me. Other people won't answer you the way I answer you. We're afraid to lose the church vote. No. I believe in God. I believe in God. But I also believe in realities of the world of today. That's why I tell you, the Now Party is a party of today, not yesteryear. I cannot live in the past to fix the future. I must learn of the past, live today, and plan for the future. That's what we got to do as party.
Are you there? Suppa Kid, thank you very much for joining us. Like I said, every Monday you'll be back. So we have lots more to talk about and catch up on.
Thanks, Suppa. Enjoyed it. And you all have we talk next week, Monday again. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say you with the attitude we got.